She bought a meal for a lonely stranger. 24 hours later, her world was utterly unrecognizable. The rain was a soft drumming on the roof of the Sunrise Cafe. For Maya, the final hour of her shift felt like a lifetime. The tips had been thin, and the chairs were mostly empty. She had no idea this quiet night was about to change everything. Just as she started wiping the last table, the bell above the door chimed. A man stepped inside, his shoulders hunched against the damp chill. His coat was worn. His eyes held a story she couldn't read, and he moved with the quiet heaviness of someone carrying a burden. He chose a booth in the far corner, away from the light. "Evening," Maya said, offering her warmest smile. "What can I get started for you?" His voice was low, a bit rough. "Just some black coffee, please." But Maya noticed his hands. They had a slight tremor. This wasn't just about coffee. "You sure?" she asked softly. "The meatloaf special is really good tonight. My treat." He looked up, surprise flickering in his gaze. "I can't let you do that," she replied, her tone leaving no room for argument. He hesitated, then gave a single, slow nod of thanks. When she brought the steaming plate over, he ate with a focused gratitude that spoke volumes. They didn't exchange life stories. He was just a man, and she was just a person who saw a need. As he finished, he tried once more to offer a few worn dollars. Maya gently closed his hand around them. "It's on the house. Thank you for your service." She'd noticed an old, faded insignia on his bag. He stood, looking at her with an intensity that felt new. "You have a good heart," he said quietly. "The world needs more of that." And then he was gone, back into the rainy night. Maya felt a strange sense of peace, but little did she know, her act of compassion had already set an unstoppable chain of events into motion. The next day, Maya arrived early to open the cafe. As she turned onto the main street, her car slowed to a crawl. Her breath caught. Parked in front of the Sunrise Cafe was a line of sleek, official-looking vehicles. And standing on the sidewalk was a formation of men and women in crisp dress uniforms. Her pulse hammered in her ears as she got out. The man from last night stood at the center of it all, but he was transformed. His worn coat was gone, replaced by a uniform adorned with ribbons and medals of rank. An aide stood rigidly beside him. "Ms. Maya?" the man said, his voice now clear and commanding, yet warm. She could only nod. "My name is Colonel James Thorne. What you did last night, it meant more than you can know." Maya's mind reeled. A colonel? This was far bigger than she'd ever imagined. "I've been away a long time," Colonel Thorne continued, his eyes scanning the gathering crowd of townsfolk. "I came home feeling invisible. But you saw me. Not the uniform, not the rank. Just a person." He paused, letting the weight of his words settle. "For that clarity of heart, I wish to thank you." He gestured, and an aide stepped forward with a polished wooden box. Inside, nestled on a velvet lining, was a gleaming medal. "This is the Civilian Service Medal," Thorne announced. "Rarely given. It honors exceptional citizenship." Tears welled in Maya's eyes as he pinned it gently to her apron. "And there's this," he said, handing her a formal document. It was a grant issued from a Veterans Foundation for $75,000 to help this cafe or any cause you choose. The crowd erupted in applause, but as Maya tried to stammer her thanks, the colonel raised a hand. "We're not finished," he said, a hint of a smile on his face. "There's one more thing you need to see." He led her past the uniforms to a large, unmarked truck at the curb. With a nod from Thorne, a soldier rolled up the rear door. The interior wasn't filled with soldiers. It was packed, floor to ceiling, with supplies. Boxes of canned food, bags of rice, warm blankets, and medical kits. "This," Colonel Thorne said, his voice thick with emotion, "is for your community, for you to distribute to anyone in need. You showed us that kindness is the ultimate strategy." Maya stood there, overwhelmed, realizing this was no longer just about a meal. A single act had sparked a movement, and that movement starts with you right now. If this story reminded you of the power we all hold, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to Human Soul Kindness. It fuels our mission to share more light. Because the final, most beautiful twist? This story right here is just the beginning. What happened next in Maya's town proves that one spark can truly start a wildfire of hope. But that is a tale for next time.